I often get asked about the difference between the zone because it's something that if you go to your level 1 CrossFit certificate course, you'll hear about. It's what we preach, and it's really a form of weighing and measuring, much like flexible eating. But the question is, what's the difference? Which should I do? And they're both quantifying food, and I believe quantifying how much food you're eating is more important than only concerning yourself with what foods you're eating. But they're different forms of understanding how much food you're eating. And I'm going to break down the zone for you guys and compare it to flexible eating. So the zone is a block system. So Dr. Barry Sears created the zone, and it's based on a block system. Where in flexible eating, you get a prescription for macronutrients, protein, carbs, and fats. In the zone, you get a set number of blocks. So I'm going to use an example where I started with the zone of 15 blocks. So you get 15 blocks over the course of the day. One block, so you understand, contains a block of carbs, a block of protein, and a block of fat. There's your block. Within one block of carbs, you get 9 grams of carbohydrates. A block of protein is 7, and a block of fat is 3. So imagine you're given that prescription. It's typically for a smaller woman, maybe 10 or 11, for a bigger guy as high as 20 to even 25 blocks. And what they would tell you is you're going to divide these up over the course of the day, your 15 blocks. So you may have 3 of them for breakfast, 3 for lunch, 3 for dinner. You may have some snacks in there. The difference between the zone here and flexible eating is you're going to eat protein, carbs, and fat at every meal. And if you do this properly, it's in the ratio of 40% carbohydrates, 30% protein, 30% fat. Here's what we're going to look at right now, though. I want you guys to understand the difference between zone and flexible eating. Deeper than that, like I said, step 1 is you're going to be eating in a given ratio every meal, which is cool. There's a lot of benefits to that. Hormonal balances, insulin, glucagon, etc. But if we look at this now, the one thing about the zone different than flexible eating is there's some hidden macronutrients. So here's what we're going to do some math. If we have 15 carb blocks over the course of the day, and we know that there's 9 grams per block, if we do some simple math here, 15 times 9 is 45, 9 times 1, 13, 135 grams of carbs. We'll do the same for protein, so we'll go 15 times 7, 105 grams of protein, and then we'll do the same for fat, which will be 45. So if you were to look at somebody like myself with 15 blocks on the zone, this would be my macronutrient breakdown. And as you can see, compared to what I'm currently eating, about 300 grams of carbs, 140 grams of protein, and about 90 grams of fat, substantially lower. So one of the issues with the zone is, in my opinion, it's typically less food than you get in flexible eating. Beyond that, there's some hidden macronutrients. So when you eat in the zone, if I have some bacon for my protein, because it would be classified as protein, we also know that there's some fat in there. So it's not as precise, because if you have bacon in flexible eating, you plug it into MyFitnessPal, we know that it's going to account for the protein and fat. Or if you have eggs, it's going to account for protein and fat. Or avocado, fat and carbs. Why I like flexible eating better is because it's more accurate. It accounts for all the macronutrients. For most people, they get more food. And in addition to that, most people long-term wind up eating more. I've seen a lot of people on the zone for years and years and years, never adjusting the amount of food they get. So hopefully that's a just brief explanation on the differences between the zone and flexible eating. If you have any more questions about it, post them below here to the comments, and I'll be sure to answer them. Thanks.